The first 11 matches of the season has been played, and now we go into a break for the World Cup with no games in Allsvenskan for a month. Luis Pimenta, to summarize this spring, what are your first thoughts?
The first thoughts, as the player group went through a demanding process during the preseason, with many new players, with new staff, new facilities, new technologies, with many new softwares, and of course new training model and playing model, and they responded very good to that. It was demanding, however they responded very good, and we reached the end of preseason with a feeling of this is going the right direction. We have a lot to work on, however we had been creating a good group and a good understanding of what our main ideas were. Then the official matches start. First in the preseason, also in the first 3 months, we had the cup matches, which we did quite okay, with 2 victories home and 2 clean sheets, only losing in the group stage to Malmö away. So respectable performance in the cup. Then the official matches of Allsvenskan started, and we knew it was going to be a difficult start, because in the first rounds we had Norrköping away, Malmö away, Hammarby away, and for a group of players that isn't that routined in Allsvenskan, of course it's matches with many emotions. However, we kept the belief that if we work in our process, this is going to be better and better. And we finished this block of 11 matches with a good feeling, with better performances, with improving performances, and with 7 points out of the last 5 matches. But most importantly, the performances and the feeling that the things we are working on are coming out. We have worked a lot in our defensive process, which is of course needed, and our stats are getting better and better, and we feel more comfortable in our high pressure and in our low block and low pressure. Offensively, we are taking steps in the build-up, in the confidence of playing from behind, even though it's Allsvenskan and it's teams that pressure more, and the ability to establish in their own half. Now, for when we come back, we really have to focus on the creation of opportunities, the last third processes, so the creation of opportunities and the attacking of the finishing zones, because if we take the step in that phase, we can score much more, and we definitely need to score much more.
You could say that you need to score more. Last game it was a 0-0 draw, and BP had chances to win this game.
No, exactly. We are working on these things, and as we took steps in the other phases of the game, we have to take in this one. But it was good to see that the boys created many goal chances. Then it's to see these goal chances as opportunities to shine, and not a moment of pressure. Oh, I have this chance. So I don't think it will be any problem to fix. I think it's just a process we have to go through, and the more players get into those goal chances, the more they will score, and the better feeling they get, then dare more. So it's I'm not too worried with that part.
If we look at the bad stuff, so we have talked about that. There are 2 4-0 defeats, but what would you say are the worst performance this group had performed in the first 11 matches, from your trainer perspective?
The worst performance was the Sundsvall away match, in my opinion. Okay, Sundsvall showed up differently than we expected, in a different formation, and that affected our match plan. However, we should have the ability, and we have showed in different matches that when a team has either a different formation or different dynamics than expected, that we speak together and we adjust and we apply. And until we adjust and apply, that we are close together, compact, reading those dynamics, understanding them, and then adjusting our way of defending, our way of attacking. So as long as we are together, as we have been in the other matches, and solve the problems together, then I'm not worried with any match, with any opponent. When we start just replicating things in a context that is different, the same solutions will not work. So then the team starts spreading out a bit, too much distances between players, then we are too easy to attack against. So we have to make sure we know what the plan is, and if the plan has to go to plan B, until then we are solid together.
You and I talked about after the last game about the performance value being better and better during the season. If we look into these 11 games into blocks, the first games was just like, okay, we need to know what Allsvenskan is, and then we really got ourselves. And as you mentioned, it's 7 points in 5 games. Have the best performance from the group been in that section as well?
Yes, definitely. I think the Kalmar performance here was a very strong performance. And Kalmar came here with 4 victories in a row, so in a very positive mood. And the Kalmar performance came also after that Sundsvall the match that we mentioned. So it's a fantastic response from the group to show, no, after our worst performance, we put up our best performance, and that was a very strong signal for the group. No, we believe in what we're doing. So that was very good. Now against Örebro again, it was, even though the result was not the one we wished, it was a very good performance where the plan that we had was really well applied by the players, and that created all those goal chances. And we have to be able to take away the emotions of the result and to actually see, did the plan work? Yes. Did the players really work hard for that? Yes. Did they manage to tick the boxes in the parameters we had for this match? And they definitely did. So we know that in matches like where we're going to create so many goal chances, it's going to be very rare to end up with 0 goals. So we just have to go through it. But definitely another very good performance from them before the break.
You go away now for 2 weeks, no football. What will happen after, when you come back and start training again and before the Dalkurd match 7th of July? What will you focus on during that period?
Exactly. We have this block of 11 matches, so that means before we finish the first round of Allsvenskan, the first half of Allsvenskan, we have 4 matches to go, and the two first after the break is Dalkurd and Sirius, the 2 teams behind us in the table. So we know that we have 10 points. We wanted more, but we have 10 points, which isn't too bad. And we haven't still played the 2 teams that are behind us, which give us an opportunity to increase that gap. We have a 5-point gap to the teams behind us. We can increase it, if we do our job good, to 8 points to each of these teams. So we have to go on holidays conscious of these facts, conscious if we do the work good during the holidays and we show up here ready to train, ready to develop, ready to have a good plan for those 2 matches, then we can have a fantastic boost, a fantastic feeling in the start, and if we can go after those 2 matches, if we do our job with 16 points, then we will be at 13 rounds with 16 points. We are definitely in a good way.
If we look at the squad right now, we have had some smaller injuries during the season, and people are coming back and going out of the squad. What are the status of those players who wasn't in the squad last time?
We have been having a very good record in relation to injury, especially muscle injuries. So we are very happy with our process in relation to our training, because we see the data we're getting in relation to their form, to their condition, and is improving. So we are getting better and better with more rhythm. The data we get also from the matches in relation to total distance, in relation to acceleration, in relation to high intensity running is improving. So we know that gives us the notion of we are improving as a collective, and still we are managed to improve without muscle injuries, and that is fantastic feedback to our training process. However, there is little cases we have to adjust. The Petar Petrovic's case is a bit more complicated because it was something he also felt in that region. It was a different side, but during the preseason, and then he came back. And now he felt on the opposite side, but the same region, in the groin region, and we have to make a plan for him because we clearly want to count on him, but we have to make sure he takes care of his body so that the body doesn't. So that the body is ready for the demands of Allsvenskan. Then we were unlucky with Alexander Nilsson, injured after 23 minutes, if I'm correct, in the first match, and he was away all the way until now, the last match against Örebro, where he came in and he showed again how clever he is as a player, that he has more experience than many in the group, and that he can be very useful for all of us. So we have had these two cases. Johan Falkmar, a player that has been unlucky in some situations. However, his training mentality and his individual professionalism outside the pitch guarantees us that he will always be a good addition to the squad. So it's just to fix certain things, and we make sure we have a strong group, ready group, with improving condition, improving strength, and improving performances.
Ludvig Öhman walked out of the pitch looking like he had some hurt in his body against Trelleborg, but he also had a yellow. Had received his third yellow card. So he was going to be suspended against Örebro. Was it a tactical, or was it something a substitution, or was it something that he felt as well?
No, Ludvig will. If Ludvig does the rehab he needs, he should be ready for the start when the matches start, because we have some weeks. So of course every rehab we have to have a follow-up that to see if it's going the right direction. But the feedback I have right now is that with proper work he will be available at the start. So no, I don't think it's a problem.
If we look at the squad as a total, are there any ingredients that you miss, that you want? If you talk to Daniel Mastorovic and say, I want this kind of player, I want this sort of ability, is there something you're missing, or is it the solution in the squad?
We believe a lot in developing our own players, and we have to. As football coaches, it's I think it's the easy solution to stop believing in one and work to get a new one. Me as a coach, I prefer to keep working with the same players, developing them, understanding that the whole staff is going to put a lot of work for them to take the steps, and then it's about them to, of course, to respond as well, because Allsvenskan has demands, and the club has a clear plan to establish in Allsvenskan, so we cannot put the club's plan under this. So this is a club that, as I said when I signed, has a culture of developing, of believing and giving chances, and I love that. And so we are gonna keep working with the players we have, and if they respond good, if their mentality is the correct one, if there is no disciplinary case, and then we keep working on them, giving them the chances, and we feel that in total the group has been taking very good steps in the different positions in this. So when we think that we had more or less 5 players who had played Allsvenskan out of 23, and one of those 5 not that much. So it's definitely about giving them time, giving them the comfort, giving them the belief that they can do it, because our evaluation is that they can. That's why they are in this squad. So they wouldn't be here if they didn't have the qualities to be here.
If we should learn the supporters some Portuguese, you're shouting "Iso" quite often in the game. What does that mean? Those who wonder.
Iso means that's it. So when they're doing quite nice, you hear Iso. If you say that we have been hearing Iso quite a bit, then the players are taking steps. So it's a good word to hear.
What would you say a word that we shouldn't hear, or do you say some? Maybe we shouldn't mention them. But if we want some tagline, or you would say, what could that be for the supporters to learn?
No, of course the ISO is something that the group took quite fast, and the vamos is something. Let's go, something the group took quite fast, and I hear sometimes in the crowd behind that I hear some people shouting vamos, and it's funny how these things spread. However, I think it should work. It should go more the other way, so that I start more and more to use Swedish words during the match rather than everybody behind me starting to use Portuguese words. So, but I'm going. I also have my own development plan, and I'm going through these steps in order to absorb more and more Swedish, and hopefully at the end of the season I will be quite comfortable.
Yeah, because at a personal level you already speak Norwegian, and that would, I would say, make a good step to learn Swedish quite fast. How much do you feel that you have learned? I'm
actually surprising myself, because in the press conferences I always understand what the other coaches are saying, and so it is going faster than I expected. So the understanding is there, and I'm happy with that. I'm not at the level where I can speak, or at the comfort that I can speak. Also because in the squad we have several people that don't speak Swedish, and then all our trainings and all our meetings are in English. So the amount that I'm using. That I'm practicing is very little, and that is a vital step. However, of course, through the day-to-day in Sweden, this I pick up, and I know I'm good at this. So, and I know it's about also putting some extra effort. So, I won't mind too much if I have another language at the end of the year.
You used two Swedish words in the press conference after Örebro. You said vårsäsong and höstsäsong. I noticed. What made you use those words? It's words that are used the same way in Norway, and in Norway the last years I had all my interviews and press conferences in Norwegian. So I'm very comfortable with Norwegian. However, sometimes I notice that I use a word in here that is Norwegian, and I see people say, what does it mean? Glad to hear that it's the same in Swedish with vårsäsong and höstsäsong, so that's good. But it goes a bit like that without me noticing. I went through that phase with Norwegian as well. In my talks, suddenly I was putting a lot of football words in Norwegian in the middle of the sentences, and then it started transferring naturally. So it's just to let that process go. It's a good sign if they're coming now. You're going on vacation tomorrow. What are you going to do during the vacation to relax? Any tips?
No, I'm going to travel a bit, and I like to visit. I like to relax. Of course, I like to spend time with people that I care, since in the personal aspect, of course, being here alone, it's demanding in some moments. Having my kids in Portugal, having my girlfriend in Norway, so it's demanding in some aspect, but it's a choice that I take. However, then in these moments, it's to give them the priority, in order also for our mental health to be good, which then gives more energy for the football side. So no, it's just about enjoying, relaxing, getting the batteries fully charged, because I'm really hungry to show up for those 3 weeks of preparation before the Dalkurd match, and definitely I believe we can start very strong with what the boys showed now in the last block. With what the boys showed, we all believe we can start very strong. So it's about coming fresh, mentally, physically, and ready to work hard.
I wish you a pleasant vacation and see you in 2 to 3 weeks.
Thank you.